Now, yesterday on WION Pulse, we told you about 2 new Western tanks approved for Ukraine. As Kiev lauded the move, little did it know that Moscow was planning its next move. Since the announcement, Russia has launched a barrage of attacks towards Ukraine. Air raid alarms had sounded across the country. 11 people lost their lives and many were left injured. The visuals on your screens are from the capital city of Kiev. Residents were forced to take shelter in underground metro stations. A missile even landed on non-residential buildings in the south of Kiev. Remember, even before the West gave the green light, Russia had already vowed to retaliate and has sent a barrage of missiles onto Ukrainian soil. The West's decision to send more firepower to Ukrainian troops has enraged Russia. Moscow is calling it a direct involvement by the West.
Из европейских столиц, из Вашингтона постоянно звучат заявления о том, что направление различных систем вооружений, в том числе танков, на Украину никоим образом не означает вовлеченность этих стран или альянса.
The Leopard 2 and Abrams M1 tanks have gotten the green light, but there is a long road between that and reaching the battleground. There are logistical challenges of how the tanks will reach Ukraine. Then the soldiers will have to be trained for the high-level tanks. Then there are artilleries to be decided that will accompany the tanks. Well, we cannot confirm everything at the moment, but the German defense minister says the Leopard 2 tanks will reach Ukraine by the end of March. It's important to note that the Western countries have already sent Ukraine everything from artillery to Patriot anti-missile defense systems. But tanks were long considered a step too far. Not just by Russia, but also by the West. But Ukraine is also desperate. It is gearing up for a new spring assault. So naturally, allies are now scrambling to send the powerful weapons. Russia's game plan is not known. It could be the latest twist in the biggest European conflict since World War II. Russian forces have tightened the screws on Bakhmut. Ukrainians have described it as a wave of attacks on humanity. Now, for more on this, we're being joined by Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis, who is a military expert for defense priorities. Thank you for being with us, Colonel. Now, Ukraine got the green light on the tanks that it wanted, the Abrams and the Leopard 2. But did they underestimate Russia's retaliation?
Yeah, I doubt that they underestimated. I think they're completely clear that Russia is in an all-out war and they're going to do everything that they can. I believe that this is a response to that, in fact, that they say, hey, if Russia's coming at us with everything they have, then we want to get everything that we can get on the other side to defend and then eventually to reverse the situation to try and drive Russia out. That's very clearly Kiev's intention. That's what Zelensky has said almost from the outset and has said nothing different in the recent days. And now you see both Washington and Berlin and also London are all willing to say, hey, here's some of our top line, or something close to our top line main battle tanks to go along with all the other categories of things you just mentioned have already been delivered. And it remains to be seen if under the most grueling conditions, Ukraine can convert all of those items into effective combat power. And that's the real unknown at this point.
Right. And Colonel, we've seen footage of the strikes in Kiev. Is this the next phase of Russia's invasion? And what do we make of Russia's statement saying that it's direct involvement by the West?
Yeah, I think what you're seeing with this current wave is just the latest in a long series of waves. Going back all the way to October, they have been periodically coming in large numbers of multi-wave strikes like this one. To where they try to take out both the energy infrastructure that's necessary for Ukraine to support and move its military around, and also to specifically degrade Ukraine's military capacity, both in terms of troops and infrastructure. And apparently all of those were targeted in this latest one. And most likely this is in preparation for what almost has to be some kind of a Russian winter offensive. And I think that is going to take on more urgency now because of all these weapons that are going to be coming in later in the spring. There's a window of potential opportunity right now for Russia where I think that they're going to feel compelled to move maybe sooner than they would like, or certainly an urgency to strike in this winter, because once those tanks starts coming in and Ukraine starts getting trained on them, how far they can go is another matter. But the fact that those weapons will be on the ground with ammunition will unquestionably improve the Ukrainian side.
Right, Colonel, thank you very much for being with us and your analysis there. WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.